Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. We'll be talking about a national dialogue, which is something which is always on principle agreed by all political parties across the board, but somehow never gets done. We never get around to it when we talk about national dialogue, keeping all the institutions on board. There has been talk about that. Various versions of the national dialogue have been discussed from time to time. But why does it not go forward? Let's talk about that. Isn't it urgently needed at this time? When will we do it, if not now? Let's talk about that. Let's also talk about the political rallies of the opposition, the to and fro exchange between the opposition and the government at this time, which centers on your rally and our rally. And if your rally is fine, why is ours not so? And back and forth, and whether that's doing any good when the spread of corona seems to be raging. All of that today on Perspective. I have with me Arif Chaudhry Saab, who's a legal expert. Thank you so much for joining us today. Ahmed Jawad, who is a Central Secretary for PTI. Thank you so much for being with us today. Arif Saab, let's start off with you. When we talk about a national dialogue, and this is something that is talked about from time to time, when even anything important happens as far as the political scene is concerned, or when you talk about things of national importance, national issues, the talk of a national dialogue crops up. If we're going through the worst, you saw, I'm sure you're aware, we're going through, whenever Pakistan is going through anything bad, you talk about the COVID-19, which the world is going through, you talk about an economic crisis, the talk of national dialogue comes up. You talk about institutions, issues between institutions, unfortunately, then also the talk of national dialogue, but it doesn't happen. Why do you think that is, in your legal opinion? Why doesn't the Pakistani framework of institutional framework get around to it, in your opinion?
Yeah, thank you very much. As a matter of fact, national dialogue means when there is a crisis, and crisis of such a nature, which is, taking over the entire nation and its all, national interest, then there is a need that, all segments of society should sit together and think about the real problem and the solution to that problem. But the problem arises where, when we talk about national dialogue, we also include two institutions which are not actually should not be part of any such dialogue. One is judiciary and other is the army, armed forces. Because these two institutions are impartial, neutral, are supposed to be neutral, and their role is that of arbiter, and particularly that of judiciary. And you cannot include judiciary, into such kind of national dialogue when there are divergent political parties, having their own agenda, having their own opinions. And, as far as military is concerned, army is concerned, that also cannot be included.
So you're right on principle. You're right. That is what separation of powers is about, even as students, when you teach students of law. But the point is, in this country at this time, you have the PDM and you have two main political parties. Even if we don't talk about the PPP, PMLN at this time is talking about the army. They say they're not talking about the army. According to them, they're talking about individuals within the army. But there is so much talk of, the role of establishment. There is so much debate over it on every news channel. Don't you think it's in that kind of an environment? Why not make it a part of the national dialogue?
Yeah. So then, I agree with you to the extent of army. Then again, I would request that judiciary should be excluded, because it cannot be part of any such dialogue, because you cannot have it on board as far as national issues are concerned. But one thing is very important, which if either absolutely, apparently, the establishment should play its role, or behind the scenes. The things have gone to that, they have attained that kind of nature that now I think, you need to calm down, and, because the political parties, particularly those who are in opposition, their agenda, I don't know. It should not have happened like that, because sitting, in the opposition doesn't mean that you go against the national interest of a country. Whatever they say, I had never heard of that kind of things, from those, political parties heads of that caliber, like, who is heading the political party, and he is talking against the establishment. And all those things which the enemy could say, you are saying those things. I think, that is causing irreparable loss to our national interest. And, I really agree with this suggestion and with this proposal that now is the time when sanity should prevail. And, whatever may happen, country is supreme. If country doesn't exist, God forbid, and anything happens to the country, then all these oppositions and all these political parties or whatever, agenda of government, everything fails. So now we have, once for all, it has to settle down that, it's not that, if there is a COVID or any problem facing the nation, everybody is different, every political party is different, and everybody wants to take political mileage out of it, and they are playing politics, notwithstanding the fact that, nation is faced with the pandemic, nation is faced with danger and, threat by their enemy. There should be an end to it, and, even I would suggest that establishment now should play a vital role, because things have gone to that level. If you really want to include establishment, and I naturally will have to agree with that.
Right,
so because none else.
Let's go to Jawad Sahab. Jawad Sahab, your party also, if you talk about the government at this time, you also agree. The government has agreed that there is no primarily objection to a national dialogue. But again, this talk of the establishment now, it's I'm sure the interview of the former finance minister has been something that has been discussed on every news channel, and he was asked a question that there is so much being said against the army by the PMLN. And I'm quoting Hard Talk host Stephen Sucker. He said that you are going and talking about the army, and you are saying against your own, and he said categorically, we're not talking about the military, we're not talking about the armed forces as an institution, but we're talking about individuals. The point is, the kind of message now that is going abroad or all over the world is a message which is now saying that the political parties are talking, or the opposition parties are talking about an institution like the institution of the armed forces, or whether we give it that name of establishment or whatever. So isn't it good, wouldn't it be better if all of the stakeholders can sit together and there can be a national dialogue, so that all of these fissures that are now showing can be eliminated?
Marukh, if we are talking about national dialogue, obviously the first point is what is the agenda of that national dialogue. If the agenda of the national dialogue is subjects related to national security or education or health or law and order, economy, I mean, there are mechanisms within the constitution and within the institutions. For example, in Parliament, there is a committee for every subject, every field, which is jointly participated by government and the opposition. And if we talk about the current challenge, which is Corona, there is a national institution with the name of NCOC, which is participated by all the provinces and all the authorities in the government departments. And there they try to create a national strategy. So a lot depends what exactly do we expect from a grand national dialogue. In the past, I think the grand national dialogue, it will be perceived from the experiment of National Reconciliation Ordinance, which was introduced by Musharraf, and it was also based on this national resolution, national reconciliation. But its primary purpose was to offer opportunity to the political people who have gone in the asylum and they are facing criminal charges, they are facing political charges or whatever, and there should be a journal apology for them, and they should come back and join the national politics. So, so it a lot depends that what exactly we would like to propose under this grand national dialogue. If it, looking at the current situation, I think with respect to the PDM, because I think this is something which is the current challenge, and the second challenge is Corona. So both these challenges, obviously, they need some national dialogue or some national consensus. But there are problems. Number one problem is that the PDM main objective, main agenda is that the government should go home.
Jawad Sahab, when you talk about, right, you're saying that, whatever issues are, but at this time, even as an issue as important as the COVID is something which there hasn't been, it's been we as a society, of which the government is a part, of which the opposition is a part, has been unable to reach any kind of consensus. I think that I don't think it would be wrong to say that if it was any other country, there would perhaps have been, this is perhaps the time where there would have been agreement. Instead of saying, well, you have done your jalsa and now it's our turn and we are going to do it because you did it, and back and forth. Sort of, I don't think it would be wrong to say a kind of childish argument that has been spewing for some time. And that argument now, which is of national proportions, of national ramifications, unfortunately, for the people. So even for the government, your government has said that there, as far as Multan was concerned, the government said they would not allow it, and then just, they, at the last moment, it was something that they allowed. So there has to be one kind of policy, one kind of consistent policy, which should have been agreed on primarily by all the political parties, regardless of whether the opposition or the government. But there hasn't been that kind of maturity.
Maruf, if we consider NCOC as the National Forum for evolving the national strategy on COVID, so there was a strategy and policy announced, and it was applicable to all provinces, and it was applicable to all political parties and all institutions. Now, it is a catch-22 situation for the government. They did not grant permission to the opposition, neither in Peshawar nor in Multan, and not even in Lahore. But then opposition still managed to hold Jalsa in Peshawar and in Multan. Now, the government has two options. The one, use of force to implement the decision, which is a decision as a national strategy. There is no doubt about that. Or let it happen. I mean, the use of force, perhaps it is what the opposition at this time is seeking, so that they can justify their movement and their protest more vigorously. That the government has used force, and there is an outcome of such protest and the use of force, and what is going to happen in the streets and on the roads.
Fair enough.
So government has to be very cautious about its steps. So they tried, they prevented them to hold their jalsa in Qasim Bagh, but they still managed to do their jalsa in the center of the city, and try to give this message that we prevailed.
Right, okay,
but,
I will come
but
back
the government, I mean, they have to be cautious about this thing, and that is why in Lahore, the government has declared that it is not allowed. There can be FIR on the leadership if they try to, but we will definitely are not going to stop them by force.
Okay, right, I will come back to you. Ji, we'll also have Rana Afzal Ehsan Saab from the PMLN with us. Ji, Rana Saab, your strategy as a political party, as part of, very much a part of the PDM, has been that you are going to go forward with all your jalsas, you are going to go forward with the jalsa in Lahore also. why is it not possible for the PDM, the opposition and the government to reach some kind of an agreement? Why is it not possible for your party or the PDM at this time to delay the Jalsa? Maybe 2 months down the road you can continue your movement against the government at this time, or against whatever the issues you feel there are. Why not do that?
First of all, we feel that this government has become a bigger threat than Corona, and let me explain how. When we left this, when our government tenure completed in 2018, 24% of the people in Pakistan were living below the poverty line. Today, economic experts are estimating that Pakistani citizens living below the poverty line are around 40 to 45%. So, how many people must have died from poverty?
So
How many
Rana
people
Sahab, you
have
thought
got-
that you thought that you thought as a political party, as a very much a part of the opposition, the PMLN thought, okay, a lot more people are dying from they don't have food, so let's contribute by spreading Corona. Is that the policy that the PMLN
No, no.
has?
Let me complete. Let me complete. So that is one part where unemployment is increasing, where poverty is increasing, and when we talk about Corona, all our jalsas or these conventions, we try to follow all the SOPs. We'll try to
Rana Sahab, how can you follow SOPs? I want to know from you. I want to know from the PMLN. I want to know from the PDM. Can anybody give a sane answer to the media? How can you follow SOPs when your leadership stands on the container and talks to the people? They can follow SOPs. They can put on a
I'll tell
mask.
you how.
They can wear an
I'll tell you how.
They can wear an N95 and talk to the people, but not those people who've come to listen to you on the jalsas. They cannot
I'll
follow
tell
any
you how the
SOPs.
SOPs. Now let me answer. I'll tell you
Yes,
how the
please.
SOPs can be. Let me answer. You put
Please,
your question.
please.
We can make people follow SOPs if you give us permission to hold these jalsas. If if
Right.
people don't, if police does not bit in charge on our workers, if they don't go for arrests, and if the police themselves are following SOPs. So, for example, in Multan, if we were allowed permission, then obviously there would have been an entrance point where we would be distributing masks to anyone who would be entering. We would be distributing sanitizers. So some sort of SOPs would be implemented. But that was not the case. So government, where on one side was claiming that we aren't going to let them do the jalsa because of Corona, they had opened floodgates of police force around 2,000 to 4,000 who were not even following SOPs. And then with this confusion, and we could not even set up stage properly. Obviously, following SOPs was difficult. So now for Lahore, if they give us the permission, and if we know that there is not going to be any aggression towards the participants, then we can plan properly for the implementation of the SOPs.
Okay, I will come back to you, Rana Sahab. Fair enough. I will come back to you. Ji. Arif Saab, do you think, in this kind of climate where you're getting two divergent opinions on whether even the SOPs can be followed, all the world around, whether you talk about the West, you talk about all over the world, there is a unified opinion of all the doctors and all the medical people, as far as, there doesn't seem to be any division of opinion on the fact that if there is a crowd, this virus will spread. How much you can eliminate with following SOPs or not is something, again, one can't really say. You can probably decrease the risk, but in this kind of environment, to have that kind of gathering.
Marok, PDM is headed by Maulana Fazlur Rahman.
Right.
And you might have seen that statement of Maulana Fazlur Rahman that I am ambassador of Corona in Pakistan. Then after that, does anything remain to say about the SOPs and all these precautions are to save the nation from this pandemic? No, because there is, a thirst on a point that they have to move forward. And irrespective of what happens to the nation, what happens to the common man, they are marching towards their goals, and their goal is to get rid of the government. And you know, if you talk about getting rid of the government, what does it mean? It means that, you know, you have to bring to the entire nation to a standstill again, because otherwise this PTI has the mandate of the nation, and their mandate is to run the government for 5 years. That means half of the time still remains.
And they're saying, basically they're saying
Yeah.
that you either do a national lockdown or we are going to proceed with our jalsas.
Yeah.
That is essentially what the opposition is saying at
Yeah.
this time. Ji, Jawad Sahab, why not, you know, you're saying that there was no other option open to the government, they will not use force. Why not at this time converge a joint session of the parliament? Why not try to talk to the opposition in the parliament, try to get them to come to some sort of an agreement? Because okay, Multan is now over, Peshawar is now over, but you know, we're talking about Lahore, which is on the 13th or 14th or whatever the date is. Why doesn't the government make that kind of extra effort?
Maruf, if you can recall, I think it's only a week before when Speaker National Assembly, he invited a Parliamentary committee to discuss coronavirus. Opposition parties, they boycotted that committee. So there is already an effort from the government so that the government and opposition representatives, they can sit together and discuss that what should be the strategy against the COVID. But unfortunately, Maruf, the problem is not that the opposition is doesn't know what is the threat and what are the risks involved with the COVID-19. It is basically their political motivation that they, if they have been given some timing, that they have to create some kind of challenge for the government, which they are aiming to throw away the government. So if that timing they have to follow, somebody has told them to follow that timing. So for them it is corona or no corona. They want to go according to the schedule.
Who do you think has told them to follow that kind of?
Maruf, unfortunately, if we look at our history, international establishment has always played a role in Pakistani politics. So whether it is the NRO of Nawaz Sharif when he went to Saudi Arabia, everybody knows there was an agreement. Everybody knows the role of royal family from Saudi Arabia and leadership from Beirut, who were all involved in granting him that opportunity that he could go to Saudi Arabia and does not participate in the Pakistani politics for the 10 years. What was that? That was something arranged by the international establishment. Second time, at the towards the end of Musharraf government, then again the international establishment was in play, and which arranged amnesty for People's Party and for PMLN, and then came this historical NRO.
So keeping all of that past in mind, why not go for a national dialogue at this time, which centers on the issue of, you know, I'm saying that
they are not interested.
Okay,
they are interested. They are only interested somehow that the government should go home.
Right,
that is their number one agenda.
Right, okay.
They are not interested to discuss anything.
That's
they are
fine.
just interested somehow to throw the government. And who is giving them this timing? Who is giving them the strength? I mean, it is anybody's guess, anybody's imagination.
But Jawad Sahab, that may be true. That may be true according to you and the government. That may be true that somebody is giving them strength or whatever the behind the scenes is happening. Why not? Why doesn't the government be the bigger person and before the Lahore Jalsa invite the PDM and tell them that, you know, let's sit down and we will talk about the statistics. We will talk about the fact that the government will also not do any political, any kind of gatherings. They will not talk to people, because, you know, that back and forth exchange that you did it and therefore now we have to do it, and now you're talking about, and you know, all the, I will ask Rana Saab this also, but and all the jokes centering around corona, by the way, which are in very bad taste, when people are dying of this disease. There are people on ventilators. because of the COVID-19. So why not? Why doesn't the government be the bigger person? It's something to think about.
Maruk, your approach and your suggestion is based on sanity.
Okay.
I would not deny that. But like I explained, that this is not the intention of PDM or the opposition at this time,
Okay.
that they are looking forward some kind of resolution or consensus on the subjects like economy, on the subjects like corona. Their intention is something else. And so it is not even a question of smaller or bigger. The government would always be ready, the parliament is always there. If they are not ready to talk about corona in the parliament on the invitation of the speaker, so you can well imagine that they are basically not aiming for any resolution. They are aiming for something
but,
else.
Okay, that may be true. But Rana Saab, why is why has corona, why has the COVID-19 become such a big joke within your the PDM, not only the PMLN but also other political parties which are part of the PDM at this time. There are jokes about corona which are in very bad taste, and there is talk about how this person is corona and that person is corona, and trying to make it a joke, whereas it's not a joke, it's a reality, and the world is dealing with the crisis of the COVID-19, not only Pakistan. So why don't you, as a political, even if you saying that you can follow, you can implement somehow SOPs with a gathering of thousands, which you maintain, if I'm not wrong, you maintain that it will be a gathering of thousands, isn't it true?
Yes. So,
I think I'm having a
let
problem.
me,
Gee.
the answer is that the Ghanta Ghar, the 8 bazaars in Faisalabad, every day 30, 40, 50,000 people move around rubbing shoulders. Are there any SOPs being implemented over there, or is it only the opposition all over Pakistan which is spreading corona? So the government policy is haywire. You cannot possibly blame only the opposition for spreading corona, whereas you have no policy being implemented all over Pakistan, where you could say
But isn't it
SOPs
true that you are only the opposition is the only main source, is going to be the only main source of having gatherings which will be comprising of thousands of people?
That's what I'm telling
other
you.
than that, the weddings.
There is gathering in Faisalabad's Kacheri Bazaar or the Ghanta Ghar, the 8 bazaars. 40, 50,000 people gather there every day and they rub shoulders. And
Which
there are
is
no
because,
SOPs. And
so
that is
you are
only
saying,
one bazaar in Faisalabad. There are thousands of bazaars all over Pakistan. And there is no government policy or any SOP being implemented.
where people
are
are conducting business, where there are buyers and sellers who need to make money, who need to come and work because they have no other option.
We need to get rid of this government. Otherwise, Pakistan is going to get
so
more
what will
poor.
happen if you get rid of this government? Okay, if you get rid of this government at this point, what will happen to COVID-19? People, you will do a national lockdown and people will not have to come to work. I came to work. I'm sure there are other people who are going to work regardless of the COVID-19, trying to take as many precautions as they can. So will you shut it down? Will you go for a national lockdown?
No. We will deal with it properly. There is lack of governance. There is incompetence in every department, and they have failed to perform or bring any results. Now you were talking about a dialogue. How is it possible to have a dialogue when the Prime Minister says that the opposition is cursed? He says that I'm going to teach them a lesson. How is it possible? Is it the opposition which is not letting the dialogue happen? We supported the FATF bills. We were on board. And then they backstabbed us saying that they want an NRO. And then whenever there are talks, you say that, they are chores, they are looters. And that is the talk you keep on doing non-stop. So obviously there is going to be no dialogue, and the opposition is not willing to sit
Rana
with such a
Saab, why don't you, in the interview that your finance minister, being called a very close ally of the former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, was asked that why don't you go to Pakistan and then criticize the government, and then conduct yourself and become a part of a constructive opposition, and he had no response. So when you come,
my response is we have thousands of members in our party who are in Pakistan and leading this rally and this tehreek or this movement. There are thousands of members. There's
But
Maryam
Rana Sahab,
Nawaz.
unfortunately, these people who are going on national media to talk about this country are absconders at this time of the courts. You understand? And they're very much part of the leadership of the PMLN.
You have made them all absconders by
Okay.
putting fake cases on them. I mean,
Okay.
let me ask you a question. Why don't we have an investigation on Justice Siddiqui's remarks that he was swearing upon his mother that judgments are being forced upon, we are being given dictation to write judgments. Why don't we put an inquiry on that colonel who was moving around in the courts? Why is it that only one person has been tried for Panama while there were 440?
Rana
So-
Sahib,
so
but
what
it's
type-
true that he is at this time a convict. Whether you agree with that or you disagree with that, or you have, a bone to pick with the courts of Pakistan, the establishment
Okay.
of Pakistan,
I'll
the
tell you
government
another
of
truth.
Pakistan, the whole framework within
Maro-
which this country is now being run, whether it is the establishment or
Maro-
the government or the military or everyone. The fact is that those judgments are very much there. I'll just come back to you, Ji, Arif Saab.
Just
Yeah.
one comment.
As far as
I'll
this
just come back.
crisis
I'll just come back.
is
Ji.
concerned, opposition is also, responsible for, to help people getting out of this menace, out of this problem. What are they doing? As far as government is concerned, we may criticize them, but as far as the opposition is concerned, aren't they Pakistani? Don't they have mandate from the people of Pakistan who have voted for them?
Arif Saab, they're holding jalsas.
They are, yes. What does it
That's
mean?
their contribution.
Yes, that's the contribution, and that is the main source of spreading COVID-19. So if they are not, and since for it started, I have been, convincing them, please do your best, do your a bit, as a nationalist, as those who are part of this nation, and as those who have responsibility towards the people of Pakistan, who have given them votes, who have given them mandate to be the opposition. That doesn't mean that they have been given a mandate to destroy the system.
And if you talk
Yeah.
about the PMLN, they are the second largest
Second-largest party, and from the day one,
Right.
they started, no, government is not performing, and now if you ask them, if government is not performing, please come out and perform.
Yeah.
Have spread this knowledge to the people of Pakistan, that follow the SOPs, give them education, try to teach people, and give a lesson for the government that, hey, you are the one who are responsible and in the driving seat. You have not been able to do any service to the nation, but we, as those who are shadow cabinet and those who are government in waiting, we are doing our best to get rid of this menace. So then the nation would have said that, yes, they are the real people, and the government is not the one who deserves to be in the driving seat.
Right.
But whenever you ask them, their answer is the same. And at this point in time, I really tend to agree with the government that they have only one agenda, and that is the agenda to get rid of these cases. And for that, they can do anything with the nation, irrespective, because this is
Arif
the
Saab,
bigger
what
test.
about, before I go to Jawad Saab, what about these comments that Rana Ehsan is talking about, legally speaking? He's talking about Siddiqui Saab's comments. He's saying that why he's talking about the case against Nawaz Sharif Saab, the merits of it, and why anyone else has not been, convicted. Regardless of that, at this time, if you talk to, he is a convict, and for him to challenge the legalities of the decision is something that can be done within the framework of the law.
No, law doesn't allow anybody, particularly a convict, to criticize the judgment, because criticize means, you know, you can have your comments on a judgment, you know, and those are should be the fair comment. But as far as the conviction recorded by the court of competent jurisdiction is concerned, nobody has the right to talk like that as they are talking about that. They talk as something, there was a jirga and there was a pronouncement of judgment against them by jirga, and then they are talking about the person. Hey, look, you know, that was the guy, you know, who was against me and he did this for these reasons and for those reasons, you know. This is terrible, you know. If now they come to power, what does it mean? The fabric of the nation, as they are trying to break it, would they be able to repair it? It is irreparable loss. They should try to think as part of the nation, you know. But here the problem is the one who is not in the driving seat. He would like to go to the rack. He doesn't care, you know, whatever happens, you know, because he is not running the government. They are not facing cases. I do, you know, want to say this, you know, that NAB should take care of other cases which are, you know, particularly with reference to the people in the government. But it doesn't mean that those who are facing trial or those who are facing conviction, they should conduct in such a manner that they should ridicule the legal system, judicial system, and, you know, even the establishment is being, you know, talked about in such a manner, you know, which even the enemy would not have done it. So this is something which really is causing a lot of you know, loss and lot of you know, irreparable loss to the nation.
Jawad
They
sir,
must be careful about that.
Ji, Jawad sir.
Maruf, first of all, I would say that just take one incident of Peshawar Jalsa. There was 7 or 8% COVID positive ratio before the Jalsa, and after that, within a week, it reached to 19%, more than 19%. I mean, what more evidence you might need to prove the fact that a gathering of thousands of people will not convert into a disaster as far as COVID is concerned.
But Jawad sir, why
So
does
there
it-
is no justification. I mean, if they try to justify their jalsas or their long march or their political ambitions based on the fact that the economy has been destroyed, okay, let's talk about economy. If I look at the economy, I see in the first 5 months of this year, which was partially affected by corona, yet we have collected 20 billion more than the target, FBR target of revenues. We have received 26.5% more foreign remittance in these 5 months. We can see the
But Jawad
manufacturing.
sir, okay, you know.
I mean,
the
it's a
achievement-
list. I mean, it can. I
Right,
can go
okay,
on.
okay.
So if they want to talk about economy, so I can explain them.
Jawad sir, no, let's
with
not-
the statistics.
I don't-
Nothing out of
Okay.
you know
Whether you
my
know,
own.
their word and your word and whatever, you know, as far as the economic situation, sorry, at this time is concerned, let's talk about that. But the point is, the government at this time needs to do something more as far as curbing this movement, these jalsas, these gatherings are concerned, other than saying that we will not resort to force and we will not, you know, we will only tell them that it's not allowed. I think it's if the opposition is not willing to play ball, the government has to be the bigger person here. The government has to try to get them to sit across the table, tell them that these are the statistics, and you know, this is why we think that all political activity, whether it's from the government, whether it's from the political party PTI, which is in government at this time, or the opposition, should be suspended for this long.
Maruf, like I said, that if the intention of the opposition is to find some kind of resolution, then your suggestion is perfect for that. That the government should create that environment where such kind of dialogue can happen. But like I explained, that
You're
the
saying
intention of the opposition is not any kind of resolution. Now, your question basically is aiming at what should be the strategy of the government.
Right.
In my opinion,
Right.
the strategy of the government, first of all, it is the performance of the government. Irrespective corona is getting bigger or corona is getting smaller. First of all, I mean, the government has been mandated for 5 years to bring some changes in the country, to bring the impact of fruits of the economy to the common man. I mean, first of all, this should be our strategy. We should continue working on that. That is number one. Number two, the challenge of corona. I mean, we should try creating this awareness. I can tell you that the last Jalsa in Peshawar and then in Multan, the attendance of the people has reduced in Peshawar and further reduced in Multan. And in the coming days, people are realizing the risk and threat of participating in such rallies. So in my opinion, perhaps they will not be able to maintain this kind of gatherings in the future because it is really becoming very dangerous. We will continue as a government the awareness and basically now what we are looking forward is the vaccine. Government has allocated $150 million for the vaccine. The tests and trials are going very successful with the help of China, and we are hoping that as soon as the trial phase is over, government is going to bring the vaccine, and we have already decided that this vaccine is going to be free for the people. So these are the strategies we are working on. And we are trying to build up the awareness. We are trying to help our hospitals and medical facilities. And at the same time, we are creating a caution for the opposition that your contribution at this time is going to damage the life of people.
But you are not going to do anything more. You're not going to try to get them to come on the table and discuss the ramifications of holding political.
We have already done that. It was attempted in the parliament, and then in the NCOC, it is the participation of every province, which means People's Party is very much present in NCOC, where everything is discussed about the COVID. What is the threat? What should be the consensus? What should be the strategy? So, I mean, they are already fully aware. They are already the government has attempted to make them aware of the consequences. But like I said, it's not their intention to come to any resolution.
Right.
They want to create a situation which can lead challenges for the government so that the government can go home. I mean, it is the agenda point number one which the PDM has prepared, that the government should go home.
Right.
So that's what is their objective and which they are aiming for.
Rana Sahab, you know, okay, you go through, you have your Jalsa, you have the Jalsa in Lahore. Let's say that you go forward and you have it. You then go forward to whatever other Jalsas you have planned. What is the ultimate goal? What is the PDM then going to do? It's going to march to Islamabad. What is it then going to do? Because you've said clearly that you want the government to go home. The government is saying we're going to allow you to have your Jalsa. We've told you, we've educated you, we've tried to make you aware of the risks. If you're going to go forward, then they're not going to resort to force. That's the policy of the government. Because they are saying that that is the ultimate, that is what the opposition wants, and they will not do it. They will not go down that road. So what is the plan now?
You see, this government is a coalition government. They don't have a majority in the upper house or in the provinces. You know, it's with the coalition's help that they are in government, and the coalition partners are not happy with them as per their performance, as it is one of the worst performances in the last 3 decades. If you see the GDP growth and, you know, overall economic performance, and so, you know, they're together in this coalition only because there is this pressure from the agencies and the establishment to support this government, which is wrong and it is unconstitutional. So we have gone to the public to take our case in front of them, to see that, to say that we want independent judiciary, we want no interference from agencies or establishment in the political arena, we want freedom of press, and we want free and fair elections. So this is, you know, with this, and hoping that, you know, these stakeholders of power will understand and they will step back and they will stop putting this unconstitutional pressure on the coalition to keep. So you know, once this pressure is off, this government is going to fall because the coalition partners are going to leave them. And as for our plan ahead, this is just the beginning. We have done only 4 or 5 jalsas as of now. We can go for street protest, we can go for a dharna, and then we can go for massive resigns. And I think in this, while this unconstitutional support to this government will probably step back and the government will fall.
Right, okay. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. Thank you so much for joining us. Arif Chaudhry Saab, thank you for being with us. Ahmed Jawad Saab, thank you for joining us today. Rana Afzal Ehsan Saab, thank you for being with us today. The issue at this time seems to be that the government is prepared, has said what they had to as far as the political gatherings of the opposition is concerned. The opposition is adamant that they will go forward. What they hope to achieve from these gatherings is still unclear. The movement forward and the pace of it is unclear. Of course, the option of dharnas, the options of more protest is still open to them. The opposition maintains that they want an independent judiciary. They maintain they want no role of the establishment as far as the elections are concerned. How they propose to do that, if they do succeed in getting the next elections, even if they succeed in coming into power, the exact plan still seems to be unclear. Let's hope that will become clear in the upcoming days, and let's hope that there will be people will be safe and will be aware of the risks of the COVID-19, of the risks of participating in political gatherings at this very difficult time. Thank you so much for joining us today on Perspective.